Hi there, thanks for coming back to the channel. Today's topic is why are most people not using LinkedIn stories? Keep watching and I'll give you my thoughts after the break. Hi there. If you've not subscribed already, today's topic, why are most people not using LinkedIn stories? Let me give you some context. LinkedIn, obviously a very important platform for B2B businesses. Let's go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn now has 722 million users. In the last few months, they introduced a new functionality on the mobile app, not on desktop. I'm on desktop at the moment, whereby you can share stories and then they will scroll across the top of your home feed, your stories and other people's stories who you're connected to. The kind of content that's being shared, inspirational messages. There would be photos of people perhaps in meetings. Nowadays, those photos are people on Zoom having virtual meetings rather than in-person meetings. There could also be an agenda for a schedule of meetings for the day, or a diary or something like that. That could be a piece of content that you could share in a fairly light-hearted fashion with your LinkedIn audience. And the people that would see your story content would be your first degree connections only, and they can comment on your shares, on your stories. So the question for today, in the title of this video, why are most people not using LinkedIn stories? Well, I think there are 4 reasons. So I'm going to go through those 4 reasons now. And if you want to hear all of those 4 reasons, obviously keep watching until the end. The first reason, I believe, is functionality. I've hinted that LinkedIn has only introduced stories to the mobile version and not the desktop app, and I'm on the desktop app here. Let me give you some context in terms of the number of LinkedIn users. So as I mentioned, there are 722 million LinkedIn users, but of those 310 million are monthly active users. So less than half are monthly active users, and of those only 3 million, so that's 3 million of the share content on the platform on a weekly basis. I am one of those, and I share, and you can see the posts that I share, and then some of the comments I make on other people's posts as well. I'm one of the active people, but the vast majority of people are not sharing content on a weekly basis. Of those, a further consideration is that the functionality of stories is only available on the mobile app. It's not available on desktop. Given that the status of LinkedIn as an acceptable social media platform during work hours, so a lot of people are using LinkedIn on their desktops, whether that's iMac, MacBook Pro, or a Windows 10 machine. They're using them at work, and because of that, if they were able to use stories via their desktop application, of LinkedIn stories would increase. Let me just give you some figures. So stories are only available on the phone. There's only 3 million people who are active sharing content on a weekly basis. So if everybody in 3 million, and it's not going to be everybody, of course, in real life, if everybody of the 3 million shared a story, that would still only equate to 0.41% of the LinkedIn user base. So by limiting the functionality of LinkedIn stories, LinkedIn as a corporation has limited the amount of use those stories are going to be put to, because a lot of people will not be using their phones as a predominant communication tactic or instrument for LinkedIn. They'll be using desktop most of the time. So if LinkedIn wanted to make a change, wanted to increase the take up or the usage of stories, they could roll out the functionality to desktop and more people would use stories. So that's the first reason, functionality. I think just being on the mobile app makes it more limiting. And if I compare that with Instagram, there was a time when Instagram, you could only upload on Instagram from the mobile app. But now you can upload to Instagram from a desktop, and if people don't know how to do that, then leave me a comment and I'll make a video about that, demonstrating it. I think I have referred to it in other videos, but I can make another video if you need that. Just let me know in the comments. So functionality is number one. Number two, benefits. So let's go to, I'm here, my profile here. You can see that I'm posting, I have some featured posts, and my LinkedIn profile is in the description. So if you want to connect with me, I'm happy to connect with you. Just say you've watched a video on my channel and I'll happily connect with you. I just want to demonstrate. So I'm posting, so you can see, if we click on the see all activity, you can tell that I'm posting, I'm sharing posts. So that's a Marketing Fundamentals Limited post and I've shared that. I'm posting directly on my profile and I'm liking and commenting on other people's posts. Here you can see, so I'm posting there, liking this and liking something else there. So I'm active on the profile. I post and I interact with people also in groups. So one of my groups, I'll just demonstrate one of the groups here, just clicking through. So this is a group that I manage, I created. So I'm posting there. So you can see by, and there's an interesting article there about Sarah Menker and her Grow Intelligence, raising 85 million in Series B founding. Okay, so the benefits of LinkedIn stories, I would assume, are more profile views and more contact requests. So people wanting to join your network, and those are good benefits, good metrics that all B2B marketers will be looking at on LinkedIn. And they can be improved by posting on the profile, as I've demonstrated, and by being active in groups, as I've also demonstrated. So there's nothing unique. If you're posting stories, and it's going to have the same impact, i.e. more profile views and more contact requests. You're already doing that with your activity, posting via your profile and group activity. So I'm not sure, there don't seem to be any unique benefits for LinkedIn stories. So that's the second reason why I don't think people are making use of LinkedIn stories. Let's go on to the third. The third reason why people are not using LinkedIn stories is because, in my view, is because of the situation that we're now in. We're obviously in the global pandemic. So global health concerns, limited freedom of movement for understandable and acceptable reasons in terms of trying to curtail the pandemic. I'm not going to talk any more about that, just setting the scene. Because of that, people are not going to business events. People are not going to conferences, meetings, or listening to industry luminaries speak. And with the exception of Zoom meetings, that engagement, that interaction with your target audience, with your friends, your partners, within business, there are less opportunities for that. And that would be the natural kind of content that would be relevant and interesting as LinkedIn stories. What you see now on LinkedIn stories are people sharing screenshots of Zoom meetings where there's lots of faces in the boxes, and it doesn't have to be Zoom. There are other platforms available, so it could be Microsoft Teams, for example. People are sharing those, but we've all seen those now. We've all seen them in the status. You can share those same images via your personal profile. It doesn't have to be a story which obviously is only accessible to your contacts for 24 hours. Whereas the same post, if it was a post on your personal profile, can remain there and be seen by your contacts over a much longer period. So that's another reason. The fact I'm based in London, UK. If I'm attending a conference in California, I would post that as a LinkedIn story, and it wouldn't even take a lot. It would just be, I'm here at such and such, engaging with these people, probably be a picture of me meeting with some new contacts. That would be a very good and relevant post for a LinkedIn story. We're not doing that. We're not recommended to travel at the moment because of the pandemic, and so on and so forth. So everybody is limited to a large extent. So the kind of content that would work very well and does work very well on sort of Instagram in terms of you being at this location and so on, and then applying that to LinkedIn, being at this conference, meeting with these luminaries, etc. You're not doing that because of the pandemic. So that's the third reason why people are not naturally taking up the opportunity to post stories. And the fourth reason, and that's something that, once again, this is my opinion. The fourth reason is that stories are not accepted as LinkedIn behavior. What I mean by that is on other platforms, Instagram, Snapchat, stories, the people that use Instagram and Snapchat are more predisposed to demonstrating or their lifestyle. You could say flexing in some cases, their lifestyle, and creating stories around what they're doing, and that could be at aspirational places or with aspirational material items or even spiritual items, any kind of sort of lifestyle statement. That's very natural and consistent with an Instagram audience or a Snapchat audience. It's not really the approach or the normal behavior pattern for LinkedIn professionals. A lot of LinkedIn professionals, they want their work to do the talking. They don't necessarily want to be a personality or a presenter with online content, so they're less likely to do that, where they put themselves out there. They would much rather talk about the projects they're working on, and yes, you can do that, but you still have to post it, and then you're attaching yourself to it. So I'm not sure that people have accepted stories yet as normal or regular behavior on LinkedIn. So that only time will tell whether that changes and people's perceptions do change, and stories becomes a worthwhile piece of your content strategy to implement on LinkedIn. Remember, as I said in the benefits section, if the goal of the LinkedIn story is to get more profile views, to get more contact requests, you can already do that with other activities that I've mentioned in this video and other videos. So for those 4 reasons, I think that's why LinkedIn stories have not been taken up that well. And just to go back to the figures I mentioned earlier, just remember that it's only 3 million people of the 722 million users that are posting on a weekly basis on the platform. So it's very interesting to see that of that 3 million, a very small percentage of those have actually started using stories. I might update this with a new video in a couple of months' time, because I am in a group that is showcasing new LinkedIn stories in the UK, and if I find some interesting developments in that group, then I will make another video about it. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this video very useful. If you have, please give me a like. Click on one of the 2 screenshots to watch another video. I look forward to speaking to you next time. If you've not subscribed already,